we're on. What I was saying is, when you are just stuck in your head, you should be grateful. You should be grateful to be alive. You should be grateful for the small things we have in life, but you just cannot get out of your head. So this morning I woke up and I felt a bit meh. You just feel a bit meh, but you're like frustrated at yourself for not being grateful for what you have in your life. Am I alone there, or have you been in that kind of state before? So I went downstairs and I was like, I'm on the luteal phase of my menstrual cycle, which I shared last night. Go and check it out. So when I'm in this phase, I know from a hormonal perspective that just feeling a bit out of sorts. I might be triggered more easily. Definitely don't make any big life-changing decisions at this time of my life, this period. And cravings could be higher. Just having some self-love, I said that word, and understanding where I am. So I thought, downstairs, let's do some Pilates. And again, let me know if you resonate with this. I went down and I was like, I cannot get out of the state. Like, I'm feeling like I'm just in my head. And then, again, let me know if this is what you do, is I caught myself, really grateful, I caught myself because I went into the, look at yourself in your mirror and start, saying stuff about yourself, which isn't true. It's just because you're in that state. So guess what I did? And this is one of the 3 things I want to share with you today if you resonate with anything I've said. So, feeling stuck, 3 practical ways to help you get out of your head. Are you ready for this? Drum roll. Number 1, change your state. So you could have said, well, you went to the gym, so you were trying to change your state. Yes, when I got there, just wasn't feeling it. So what did I do? Jumped on the treadmill. I say jumped. I walked onto the treadmill and put it on just a mellow walking pace. I wasn't going for any kind of record or pushing myself to sweat. That was the old version of Nika. Punish myself, do more, right? I don't know what it is, but it comes down to some form of learned behavior where you punish yourself when you're not feeling good, and that goes back many years. My point being, I put on some really gangster rap music. Now, I'm sure there's many levels of gangster rap, but for me, it was some Eminem, it was some Gangsta's Paradise, it was, have you heard the song called Thrill? And I was walking on the treadmill. Obviously, the gym is full, by the way. I'm not in the gym alone. I was walking on the treadmill and I started off just really when you're aware everyone's around you, but you're really like the song. So I'm just going to tick to the beat with my steps. And then all of a sudden, I just started going for it on the treadmill. And there was a guy next to me, and everyone then I'd stop and be like, just act normal, just walk. As we all do, because we're almost too afraid to mess up in the gym or think someone's watching us, when at the end of the day, I can assure you that everyone is in their own head. So after a good kind of 8 minutes of changing the songs, Gangsta Paradise came on, and I was just hands up in the air like you don't care, basically, like punching and again going into the little rap bits. I was just like rapping it out. That's me rapping it out. And then moral of the story was I felt like a different person within only 20 minutes of doing that exercise. That was me changing my state. That then allowed me to feel more joyous, which then allowed me to take action and made the rest of today a seriously awesome day. And that's what I just want to give you from a perspective shift, is in a world where so many of us can easily feel alone, can easily feel disconnected, can easily feel like we're the only one in the world who has these problems, we can then get very easily stuck into this mind field, this tree of thought. And this is actually taken from my dad, who has an amazing program called Power Therapy. Go and check it out online, on Google. It is an incredible program. And he teaches and educates, by the way, this was pure sporadic, and he's not paid me to say this. When you have a thought, if you don't catch that thought very quickly, by that I mean becoming the observer of your thought, and then if you don't catch that quickly, it basically starts with like the tree, one stem, which then can quickly go to the next thought, the next thought, the next thought. So eventually you have this like a tree, imagine a tree stem with all these roots which look like a tangled mess of your thoughts, which affect your emotions and then can affect the rest of your day. And then it takes something like a change of situation or environment for you to bring you out of that. What my lesson for you today is, you have a choice. And this morning when I woke up, I had a choice. And despite me thinking and relying on the habits of Pilates, and for today I thought it was Pilates that was going to get me out of that state, and I was following my habit of doing something kind for yourself, self-love, when it comes to this luteal phase of my menstrual cycle, wasn't working. So again, instead of thinking, okay, this isn't right, what did I do? I just changed my state. And I actually did take a video of myself on the treadmill doing this. If you want to see it, let me know, because I'm actually, if I'm genuinely honest, a little bit embarrassed to put it up online. But if someone messages me and says, go and do it, you have my word, I will put it up in all its glory, in my sweaty mess of a face, with my hair slicked back and my lovely spot. I will post it, but I will rely on someone commenting on this for me to do it, because yes, it's, as they would say in the online world, being very, very vulnerable. Okay, so those are my 3 practical steps on how you can get out of that I'm stuck in my head, which can affect your entire day. 3 practical steps. So change your state, which then makes you more joyous, and then you can take action. And that 3rd point is very key. Take action in that state. Continue that state going forward, and don't let anyone else take away that state that you've created. Okay? Now this actually leads me on to my next point that I've been reflecting on for years. And I've actually written some notes on it. So it's communication. The older I'm getting, the wiser I'm getting. So I like to think. Did you see the shift in language there? Instead of thinking, I'm old, things are changing, wrinkles are going to happen, You see how that stem of thought can quickly go down, 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 and just make you feel awful about yourself. I caught myself quickly, and I went, the wiser I'm coming, with a smile on my face, because I'm changing my state. So I have noticed patterns and observations, especially when it comes to myself and the clients I'm working with, and even my family and friends, when we feel alone. And in this world, everything is so fast-paced, okay? Technology is changing at a rate that is like hard to even comprehend. Most of us are running from to-do list to do list. There is loads of stress, work stress, family stress. There are things that mount up that definitely, most of them are not in our control. And I'm definitely speaking from myself, and also one of my lovely clients that I'm working with at the moment who's going through the perimenopausal phase. And that is a phase of your life that you, more than anyone in the world, that was a bit dramatic, more than most people, need support. Because going through those hormonal changes alone, unless you're very aware and you can almost understand it from a pure, obviously biological and also gut instinct perspective, you need support around you. So again, if you know someone who is struggling with perimenopause, and again, you're thinking, I'm not the person for you, that's not a problem. This is not a sales pitch at all. I'm genuinely coming from a place of those hormonal changes can be extremely hard to do on your own. So reach out. Gone are the days and the thoughts and the, behaviors and myths about, oh, women are just, you're losing your mind going through that phase, or you're just emotional. Those labels are thrown out the water now. We have research to show that women going through these hormonal changes, your brain physically changes. So if you feel like you are a different person to what you were in your 20s, You are. Your brain has changed, and it's not to fear this, it's to learn it, understand it, and embrace it. Because we have more and more research to show that when you get to the postmenopausal years, you are in your prime. I said prime. Yes, I did. So if you want to know more about that, let me know. But I'm going to go back to what I wanted to say today, which was this area of where most of us can feel so alone. If you feel alone, reach out and message me, and if not, reach out to someone who's close to you, because it's a choice, and that's what I'm going to get onto now. So most of us that are stuck on this hamster wheel of like to-do lists, work stresses, life stresses, a lot of things that are sometimes out of our control. You're like on this hamster wheel. Like I imagine a little hamster like just 100 miles an hour, like never getting off it. Obviously be a very skinny hamster. But when you then get ill, you're that hamster on the wheel, and you suddenly get ill or sick, and then you get annoyed at yourself. Oh, I feel burnt out. Oh, I'm annoyed at myself. I'm ill. My bloody body. Can you see how everything is just negative towards a vessel? This is our body, our vessel, that's there to actually help us. It's there to guide us. Now, for those of you that are on that hamster wheel and you don't consciously decide to tell yourself to stop, inevitably you will end up being ill. Now, whether that's through a disease within the body, or whether that is something else that happens to you in life that you think was totally unfair and unexpected, your body needs rest. And it is a decision that only you can make to give yourself rest. So if you're someone who says, oh, I've got this long list of to-do lists today, and then you self-sabotage or punish yourself at night, and then you keep doing that pattern, but yet you don't take responsibility for that to-do list and actually tell yourself, do you know what? This is not sustainable long-term, and I need to stop. This decision is yours. Now, that can be quite hard to hear because most of us can sometimes feel that it's not in our choice and that we're in this world where everything's happening to us. Okay, oh, this happened to me. Oh, I'm ill, and I hear this a lot. Oh, my bloody body is sick, and it's just destroyed myself. I wanted to go out this weekend. And I'm like, your body's simply talking to you. And okay, maybe it's not the ideal time in your mind, your thoughts, remember. However, if your body is feeling burnt out, stressed and tired, and you're feeling emotional, the worst thing you can do is push yourself more on that hamster wheel, because without me being very blunt about it, you know what's going to happen. Like, you genuinely can't expect yourself to keep going and going and going. So that was something I wanted to share with you. But going back to this feeling of like when you feel alone. So I don't know if many of you know this challenge I'm doing, going live for 30 days, is something I'm doing for a few reasons. And one of them is to improve my communication. The biggest one is also because it's a lonely world, okay? It's a really lonely world, and most of us can sometimes get stuck in our heads that, especially if you're an entrepreneur or you're a business person, like you can work and spend a few hours on your own, which like as a human society in a race, it's actually not good for us. So this challenge that I'm doing, going live, it's uncomfortable because you're going live, it's not scripted, there's no one there editing this. But B, it's also an opportunity for me to reach out and make more connections. And for those of you that are still watching it by now, even if it's on repeat, on record, like there's something that I've said that's resonating with you. And that brings me selfishly so much joy. However, if I know I can help someone who, as I said in the earlier part of this conversation, that is feeling stuck, that is feeling alone, and I can help you through that by what I've said with my 3 practical steps, like then I've done something really good for the world, because of that bit of love that I've given out that's helped me through something personal, can then like pass it on. So that's one of the major reasons I'm doing this live 30-day challenge. But the other thing is actually to improve my communication, because again, when we do work alone and we feel like we're alone and all these stories we tell ourselves, when it then comes to like human human interaction, and I've been guilty for this, I will go within and almost become an introvert of like being too afraid to talk. Oh, 2 seconds. I think someone's at the door. Hello? I'm just gonna have to, sorry guys, this is what happens when you go live. Hi.
We're done, madam.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Have a good day.
Yes, have a good day,
Bye. Oh, that's really sweet. So that was the cleaners. So I did say I'd promise you guys a tour of the place, which I'll do in a minute. But yeah, just to get back to this form of communication. If you are in a partnership, you know, even with your friends, your family, and you're feeling like no one hears you or no one understands you, and again, this is, everything I'm sharing with you is truth from not only my experience, but some of the ladies I work with. And there's a lovely lady who said to me, like, I feel like my husband doesn't understand me anymore, and I'm just doing so much and no one is listening to me. So a great question, and obviously I'm not going to share names or anything like that, is I said, well, does your husband actually know how you feel? And she said, no, because we don't talk. And it's this whole thing about the communication again, because no one is right or wrong in this situation, in this relationship, right? It takes two to tango. The point I'm trying to make is that how will anyone know how you feel if you don't speak? How will your partner know how you are if you don't let them know? Now, it's a different conversation if you are letting them know and they're ignoring you and they're disrespecting you. That's a different conversation. However, if I go back to the experience I'm sharing with you, that when I suggested we come up with a bit of a plan where we create a space that you feel safe and that you feel comfortable expressing how you're feeling. And I've had someone has said to me, well, that makes me feel uncomfortable. Not a problem. Listen to your body all the time. However, what I will say, if you don't speak up and if you don't listen to your body in terms of that inner thought, that inner gut feeling of like, I'm just not being heard, what do you think is going to happen? Life is going to happen to you until you decide to make a decision, until you decide to make a choice to step into it and embrace that little bit of discomfort of having a conversation. Because most of us build this big story play in our head about how this conversation is going to go, that by the time it happens, 9 times out of 10, unless you're with an absolute narcissist, and that's again another different situation and conversation, like, you will be heard. And then what usually happens, or what can happen, and you open the door to happen, is that your husband or your partner might come back to you and say, I'm feeling the same. Or actually, thank you for sharing this because I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like you don't listen to me. Can you see? So if you're feeling like you're not being heard or felt in your relationship, or you're struggling, speak up. Speak up, because the worst thing we're doing as humans at the moment in this day and age of a fast-paced hamster wheel technology life is that we're becoming more isolated because we are getting more distracted. And then we're losing our human connection and our human skills of talking to one another. There's a reason we can talk as humans, and that's the reason why animals don't verbally talk. I know they make sounds, but it's like body language for animals, right? That's their main form of communication. Humans, we have a gift to talk. So use it. Speak up. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you for everyone who has joined live. And as I said, for those of you that listened to it, if you want to see me sweating, dancing on the treadmill, I will only post it if someone comments on this, because it's not the best angles, as many of you would say. Yeah, I hope you have a fantastic Saturday. Oh, I'll show you the apartment.